When I think of Shrek video games, I most often recall Activision's Shrek 2 from 2004. Okay, it wasn't the best game ever, but it did at least attempt to adhere to the spirit of the movie, despite the fact that very few of the levels actually featured in the movie, and most of the voiceovers were painful imitations. Case in point, here's Shrek.
Then I need help collecting eyeballs. It'll be a long journey, and nobody wants to see me hungry.
Yeah. Anyway, I personally know of few tie-in video games that coincided with the release of the first Shrek in 2001. There's a Game Boy Color game, Fairy Tale Freakdown. Yeah, the less said about that, the better. And there's SHREK Treasure Hunt for the PS1, which I have to admit I didn't remember too well, so I figured I'd try it out for the first time in over a decade. Okay, keeping with the storybook opening of the movie, that's good.
For Princess Fiona, but all the picnic items have gone missing. The items must be in the swamp somewhere. Use the swamp map to help Shrek locate and collect them all before Princess Fiona arrives.
Wow. Gritty stuff. Oh, okay, so it sounds a little generic, but you know what? I give this game the benefit of the doubt. It could actually be a pretty decent... Oh my bloody god, what the hell is this shite? Well, it looks like I'll be needing this. Is that Shrek? What? Is that unsightly clump of pixels supposed to be Shrek? It's hideous! What? I know this is PS1 era, but come on! Okay, so with very little explanation, you're wandering around what I assume is supposed to be Shrek's swamp, collecting cheese. Because... I've got nothing. Okay, so eventually you stumble upon a rather poorly rendered sign that tells you that you need this many items to unlock a minigame, which we can only hope will be more fun than this piece of shit. What the hell was that? Anyway, as for the minigame, you need to catch 3 mice. Better take a look at the controls first. Right. Was that really worth devoting an entire screen to? Anyway, you catch the blind mice by completing a set of extremely boring button combination challenges, and I hesitate because these challenges are not the least bit challenging. They don't speed up or increase in difficulty at all. It's literally the same for the duration of the game. They may as well have kept the combinations identical. It really makes little difference. Okay, I'm done here. Guess I'll just move on to the next area. And now I'm collecting onions. Because... onions! And why the fuck is everything so noisy? Jesus! I mean, as if my clomping footsteps weren't bad enough. Everything sounds hideous. Make it stop! Catch rats? What? I was just catching mice 5 minutes ago. Why do I keep having to do this? Anyway, turns out this game is slightly different in that you have to slowly move around and jump on the rats. This, as expected, is as tedious as it sounds, but you can cheat a little by jumping on the same rat several times. I say cheat. The game doesn't really try and stop you doing it in any way, but I'm pretty sure the whole point was to gather the number of rats indicated in the top left corner of the... Oh, who gives a toss for Christ's sake? Moving on. I would move on, if I could actually move. Jesus! Who programmed this pathetic pixelated piece of piss? It's not even supposed to be an obstacle. Why are you struggling, Shrek? And speaking of obstacles, there's a plethora of enemies trotting, hopping, rolling about the place, but despite the fact that I refer to them as enemies, they don't really do anything. They don't hurt you, or take an item, or threaten you in any way. Oh my god, a huge ferocious wild pig. Look out, Shrek, or it might... knock you over slightly. They're so fearsomely poorly rendered. Oh, look. I have a shield. Why? What could it possibly protect me from? Nothing even hurts you. What's the bloody point? Okay, I think my ears just started bleeding. I swear if I hear that cockerel again, I will throw my controller at the TV. Seriously, does nothing shut up in this game? Oh, great. Another fun minigame. Let's look at the controls. Honestly, I swear this is getting out of here, no. I'm sweating, I am. Anyway, here we go. Right. Ah, a knight. Quick. Come on! He's right there! Oh, for the love of Christ. Sorry, hold on. Did you just get knocked over by a sheep? A stationary sheep? Really? Oh, thank bloody Christ, the music's cut out. What a shame we still have those clumping footsteps to contend with. What the hell is he wearing? Stilettos? Alright then. That both looked and sounded very painful. Okay, you've probably noticed the problem with this game. Well, hopefully you've noticed more than one at least, but the collision detection is horrific. There are invisible obstacles and platforms everywhere. You're held back frequently by obstacles that shouldn't even be obstacles. Like, what's in my way here? Oh no, a slight incline. God help us all. It's useless, and I'm afraid to say the game carries on like this. You find a new area, you collect the things, open another one of those boring mini-games, which are admittedly better than the rest of the game, but that's not really saying much. Now what am I collecting? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Dwarves? You can't be serious. Dwarves? Well, how delightfully politically incorrect. Who thought this was a good idea? You can't just go around collecting dwarves. It's downright offensive. Like, what's next? People in wheelchairs? You can't just reduce dwarves to being collectibles. It's horrific. Wait a second. I know this music. Hold on. Yeah, it sounds just like the Treasure Planet game. No, really, listen. Oh, that's why. Both games got their music from the same place. Obviously, Game Audio just seems to specialize in sea shanties, which is fitting for Treasure Planet, but it's a bit out of place for Shrek, don't you think? The more interesting minigames are the ones that see you avoid obstacles and reach a goal. It helps to forget that you're risking life and limb just to prepare for a picnic, but still these parts of the game, while a little overly dramatic, are undoubtedly the most interesting. The problem is that trying to land in a specific place is practically impossible, and that brings us on to... most annoying level! Ooh, plenty to choose from. Crossing the rope bridge. Crossing this bridge is a nightmare due to the awkward controls and Shrek's tendency to jump way further than you want him to. Careful. Careful. Wait, oh, for fuck! The physics are just horrible, and it's very frustrating, particularly when you know you're about a meter from the end and you fall for seemingly no reason. I mean, honestly, you watch this and probably think that was my fault, but trust me, it is a lot more difficult than it looks to move his pixelated posterior just a few inches. It is often your best bet just to run for it and go berserk. Oh, and while we're on the subject of running, it was at this point in the game that I realized you could hold R1 to walk. You know, just in case you wanted the game to move any slower. And speaking of slow, there's fishing, which would be over a lot quicker if Shrek didn't keep stopping to scratch his arse all the time. Most challenging puzzle. Well, if it weren't for the random obstacles and obstacles that aren't supposed to be obstacles but are obstacles, then this game would be pretty easy. The biggest challenge is, well, basic movement, really. I'd probably have to say catching flies. Catching this last fly is a right bastard. Not because of the fly itself, but because Shrek is intolerably slow. Come back here, you... Oh, finally! Games are supposed to be fun. There's nothing remotely fun about this. Okay, I'm done. And since there are no bosses to cover, I'm wrapping this up now. This game is near enough unplayable. It is quite possibly one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. That wasn't nice! Anyway, everything is annoying. The weird, blocky, bouncing creatures don't do anything besides slow you down, and the game is pretty slow as it is. I honestly cannot describe how bad this game is. To begin with, it's hardly adventurous. Sure, you have to cross boiling pits of lava and avoid fire-breathing dragons. Well, one fire-breathing dragon, but it's all in aid of collecting items for a picnic. I mean, seriously, who breaks into a dragon-guarded castle surrounded by lakes of lava just to find salt and pepper shakers? It's painfully slow, painfully simple, painfully annoying, and worst of all, it just doesn't feel like a Shrek game. Heck, at least Fairy Tale Freakdown had other characters in it. This isn't Shrek, it's some pixelated imposter. The gameplay itself should be easy as pie, but with all its technical faults, SHREK Treasure Hunt is no picnic.